Okay, well, it is 6:01 because, you know, logging in and stuff and StreamYard and stuff. And, I'm usually the one that's a little bit late for my own party. That's me. I have to test stuff. I have to put makeup on. I have to be semi cute. I don't click on touch up my appearance no more because all they do is put blur on the wrong zits. So here I am with makeup, hair did, ready to go. And it is episode 23 of Your Comedy Bestie with your homegirl, Erica Switzer. And tonight we have the one and only Stephen J. Springer with us, everybody. How you doing today, Stephen?
All right, how are you?
Good, good. It's been a long time, and so I am excited to catch up a little bit, see what's been going on with you, and give the fine folks out there a little bit of introduction to who you are, your comedy stylings, and where they can find you. So,
Thank
uh,
you for having me. I'm excited about this.
excellent, excellent. So, I, I'm going to go ahead and get started the traditional way. Uh, how long have you been in the comedy game, and when did you get started?
I got started in '08, and believe it or not, in Indianapolis when I was living there with my sister. And I was doing it on and off and not real seriously until about 18, 19, to 2018, 19. It's just a casual thing I did on and off, until, like I said, until about 7 years ago. And I came back to Chicago and I continued.
Nice, nice. So almost 20 years.
Yeah,
When you were first getting started, and I know you said it was something that you were doing on and off for a while before you just started really going gung ho with it. Um, what was that like when you were doing those first open mics, or what were those first experiences like?
I was very nervous. I brought notebook with me on stage and very nerve wracking. It took me a while to be comfortable and start writing a lot more material. And like I said, I was in Indianapolis. I was, different group of people.
I would imagine the indie scene being smaller in the
Yes,
Chicago scene by a lot, unfortunately.
there weren't a lot of opportunities out there, and that's why I didn't progress very much as quickly as I would have liked to. So it's going out maybe once a week.
mm,
You got to do more than that to get good.
right, right, absolutely. Um, and you mentioned you bought your notebook up there. You do you consider yourself a one-liner guy, or like how would you describe you developing your comedic style?
Definitely one-liners, but within a story. Rodney Dangerfield was my biggest influence, and but I think his one-liners were unrelated. While I have one topic, within that topic, I'll have a bunch of one-liner after the other.
Excellent. And that's such a unique style these days. I'm grateful that you mentioned Rodney Dangerfield, uh, Mister. I don't get no respect. I feel like the Gen Z is way too young to remember him or to know him, but I know I could give a little introduction to him. How would you describe Rodney?
Uh, well, like you said, the king of one-liners. You got no respect, and he's an influence on me too because he started late in life. Also, he was like in his late 40s when he started, but he's just a very funny guy.
I'll say this for Gen Zers so they can catch up. Number one, see Caddyshack immediately. Like, make that your movie of the night.
And Back to School,
Back to School. Yep, that's number two.
one
See,
of my favorite movies.
yep, and then just go on YouTube and go down the rabbit hole of watching Rodney Dangerfield on late night interviews. It's fun.
He's all over Carson.
Oh man, he keeps Johnny on his toes. And Carson was a bit of a pistol too when it comes to the funnies and the quick wit. So it's always fun to watch two of them going back and forth. Um, that's one of my favorite things to do in some of my downtime. Just watch old school comedian interviews on late night.
And you learn a lot from him.
Absolutely. Because, you know, it's one thing for them to have their 5 minute spot, get the mic, and they're on national TV and they're doing their thing. It's something else sitting there at the desk with the host.
And I learned something about that. If you were a newer comedian and Johnny pulled you over to the desk, that means he liked you. He didn't pull everybody over to come sit down. If he nodded to you, you knew he liked you, and you sit down and talk with him. I don't know if you knew that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's one of those reasons why, at least back in the day, back in the 80s especially, you see tons and tons and tons of stand-ups on, you see maybe at least 3 or 4 a week on the different late night shows.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, for Johnny to sit down with him was big business and meant they were about
they
that
made it.
business. They liked them.
What's
Was
it?
that?
What's that?
No, what were you saying?
No, I just said that means Johnny liked you, and you made it almost.
Right. You made who did I hear? I heard Tom Dreesen at one of his talks at Zany's. Was it last 2 years ago?
I
He
was
yeah. Yeah, it was a great one. It was a great one.
learned a lot.
And that brought me back, just thinking about him talking about living in his car and going through stuff and still making it out there just to do that. Like that was everything to be on the Tonight Show. And now it's just like, hey man, I got a new reel I just posted. It's a different world. You've got a chance to experience a lot of your comedy career without social media.
Yep.
So, in your opinion, and I love asking comics this, especially those that have been in the game for a while, do you feel like social media is a blessing or a curse to comedy?
I guess a blessing. You have more opportunities to get out there. I think it's a good thing, but there's also a lot of people there that you get people watch their video, but they can't do more than 5 minutes, and then they get booked. I'm sure you know about that.
That happens. That happens. Social media gives people a chance, but at the same token, stand up comedy is stand up comedy. And, you can convey setup, punch, and a reel. That's great. Excellent. Can you do it over and over again? Can you do it for 10 minutes, 20,
Yeah.
30? Can you go an hour? So there's always that. I feel like it's lowered barriers of entry, but then again, that's why people got to show and prove in the output and
Right.
and getting on stages and being in demand and stuff. So you mentioned you had started in indie. There wasn't a lot of clubs down there at the time, too.
No, there's only like two, and there weren't a lot of open mics. Like I said, I was only going out once a week. But maybe it's changed since then. I've been gone, 16 years.
Yeah. Well, since
There are
you've
a
been
lot of good comics there. For a newbie like me, experience once you had to go on the road a lot. There wasn't a lot of in-town gigs.
so when you came to Chicago and started micing around, doing shows around, what were some of your favorite places to perform, or what were some of your favorite places to work out material?
The clubs, usually, the clubs that had open mics, because there you could get seen by bookers. Zany used to have the showcase. Let's see who's back when I came back. I know there are a lot of good open mics. There's so many every night. Well, you know that it's the same way now. There's like 2 or 3 a night in the city and out in the suburbs.
Oh yeah, out here, and we talk about it every so often. Our suburban scene is about as big as St. Louis's comedy scene. So we have that many comedy clubs out this way now. Uh, it's been a really nice boom over the past couple of years in the suburbs here.
It's almost like back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Exactly. So, there's Riddles on the near south side. There's Laugh and Enjoy that just opened up here in West Chicago. There's CG's, Comedy Vault,
Yeah.
Comedy Plex, Babs, just all kinds of cool places. So there's
Bend them all.
yeah, and they're worth checking out for comedy fans out in the Chicago area. Definitely worth checking out. They have great shows, especially on the weekends. They bring in those headliners, and time can be had. What are some of your favorite stages to perform at or perform on in the Chicago area?
Well, I'm a little biased. I'd have to say Laugh Factory because my show there, but any of the clubs, Zanies, uh, Improv, uh, um, Comedy Plex in Oak Park. I love. It's one of my favorite clubs now besides Laugh Factory. Babs
Nice.
is pretty good.
I was gonna ask, and I know it's a little bit early for me to even be promoting shows, but I did want to go ahead and talk about your show, Laugh Factory. It's been running a long time. Congratulations.
Thanks. 4 years.
4 years. That is something, hey, that is no flash in the pan when it comes to having a run at comedy clubs. 4 years is a nice long stretch. Hey, mama. One of my comedy besties, my mom, checking in, saying hey.
Hey, Ma.
Thanks, Stephen. I'm
Or
glad
Miss
you got a chance
Switzer.
to meet her. I'm glad you got a chance to meet her. Uh,
Nice to meet you.
Switzer is my married name,
Oh, I'm
but
sorry, Miss Thomas.
yeah.
I couldn't see real good when it came up.
Oh no, it's okay. Sometimes when people say that last name, I look. I just be like, oh, who you know, you knew me, like, but yeah. Um, yeah. So the Mighty Laugh Factory on Chicago's North Side. Tell the folks a little bit more about your show.
It's a show for comedians 55 and over, and they don't get many opportunities in the other clubs because it's a young person's game. So it's like an opportunity for good older comics to get stage time.
And bless you for doing it,
Thanks.
because of what you just said is very true. But you've also brought together some very cool comedians who might not have otherwise met. And I love looking at the lineups. Linda
Thanks.
Martin Smith, B. Cole, Susie Sitcom, just, like folks from all over the place. Susie from LA, but Susie's grew up in Chicago. B. Cole, one of Chicago's legends. Linda Marcus Smith from out in Vegas. She's well known in the comedy industry for interviewing so many people across the country. Just great lineups of the first people. Jan Slavin.
Yeah. You'd be surprised at how far people have come to do the show. I got people coming from all over the country. They're not doing it for the money.
That's what I love. That's what I love. And then that's why I said you bringing all these wonderful people together who otherwise would have a harder time getting noticed because of that old age thing. We can't
Yeah.
stop that. We can't stop that. But you got something that showcases off that wisdom. That wisdom, that knowledge, that slick wit. Jan Slavin is amazing. I was looking forward to having her. Was it next week, I think, but she had prior commitment, so slightly modified show. Me, KB, and Just Jeff next week. It'll be fun because we'll be catching up on some stuff. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, Jan's a pistol.
It's
Dennis
funny.
Allen Edge. Love me some Dennis. Who are some of your favorites that you bring back to your show? Who do you love having up there?
Harry Hickstein, Bill Gorgo. There's some of them. Who else do I like? I like them all. I don't pick anybody that I don't like.
That's excellent. You're in a good spot there. You got a lot of great folks.
Oh, Dr. Bill Miller. He's another one I really like.
Shout out Dr. Bill. Shout out Bill Gorgo. Good guy. Good guy. Very funny guy. Have you been able to take that show on the road, or is it just at Laugh Factory?
It's just a Laugh Factory, but I've been thinking about taking it on the road, though. I have to put something together. I mean, it's not easy, but I'd have to come up with some kind of business plan and be a booker. Well, not just be a booker, but a booker in other cities. And I can figure something out. I may do that.
That'd be awesome. Even if, well, yeah, that would be really awesome. I'll say that. So And you do have another show that you're producing.
What's that?
You do have another show you're producing on
Are you
Thursday.
talking about the jailers and jokers?
Talk about that.
Okay, I have another show with it's basically all comedians that are ex cops and ex offenders, and I did it about a year and a half ago at Riddle, and it did okay. And I'm thinking about resurrecting it because nobody's doing anything like that.
I thought that was a really cool concept.
Because I used to be a correctional officer, and there's plenty other comedians, a few others that have done that.
Yeah, I can think Rob Hines off the back.
Yep.
Catherine Gongaware was helping with was it the yoga program she has, I think.
Yeah, I know it. Together.
Um so yeah, that's a great concept and I hope that you keep that one rolling too. Uh I thought there was another one on Thursday nights.
Thursday nights.
Or it was just a one off. It was one show you would ask me if I was available and you were like, nah.
Oh, yeah. No, what it was, I had a Slugger Sports Bar in Wrigleyville.
Oh, okay.
It was a monthly show, but it didn't continue. It only lasted for a couple months
Okay.
because there wasn't a good location, and people aren't coming there to hear comedy; they're coming to see baseball, and this wasn't a good mix.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I love that area, but you're absolutely right. Sometimes those sports clubs just want the sports.
And not only that, but you have to have the owner behind it. You know that from and that stuff. I mean, if the owner's not doing their part, it's hard to get people in.
Absolutely. It's an all hands on deck type of endeavor. Um, I'll say this as far, and this is my own opinion when it comes to comedy production. Steven's absolutely right. You gotta have the venue behind you. You gotta have the venue want to have you there, and not just be like, take your mic and your speaker and let the folks know you're there for some jokes. Like, don't, no, I need y'all to be excited that I'm bringing this to you, and we want to bring it to you, and have people come in and dole out them funnies and make people feel good. Um, Venues help your productions out.
Yeah, but I'm not going to trash Sluggers, but the owner there was just so busy, and he doing other things, and he had a list of his existing customers, and he didn't even reach out to them, and that's the best source of customers there is, repeat customers.
Absolutely. Engaged customers, there for some laughs that no one expected. Oh, yeah. Especially when you set the tone, when you create
Right.
an atmosphere, people will come. And I've seen, because I've done shows out of comedy bars, out of sports bars, out of speakeasies, out of all kinds of venues. It can work. It works.
And it gives you more stage time.
Exactly. There's stages for all people. All these people out here. All these opportunities. Um, let's talk about you getting out there on the road. What have been some of your favorite states to perform in?
New York is my favorite. I mean, there's just so many opportunities there. Vegas, LA, even on anytime I go somewhere on vacation, I hook something up.
Nice.
In fact, you're going to think I'm sick for saying this, but on my honeymoon, I even did an open mic there, or showcase.
That's not sick. That's not sick.
Well, some people think it is, but she was okay with it. That's the main thing. My wife was okay with it.
That's what I was gonna say. You have a very supportive, loving wife that would allow that, and that's wonderful that you were able to do that. That's not sick, not at all. I would love that. Uh, Sierra, I have to modify your prayer to ask for a man to be as loving as that. Come on now. Because Lord knows I've had my share of, hey, baby, I had a great show. I don't give a damn that you're, yeah, no, I don't like that. I've had times where I've been so ecstatic from coming out and just being like, man, I had the crowd like I was playing a video game on autopilot. And I get home and I'm playing video games and then I get, nah, I don't even want you playing video games. Like, wow, can I be happy? It's nice when you have somebody that supports you, that backs you up, that understands you have a weird like set of working hours, that sometimes you're out around people, sometimes they're attractive people, But you're not even looking at that. You're just there to get the job done.
Right. And another
Yeah,
thing funny about it is she knows my material better than I do. If I forget a line, she lets me know.
exactly. See, that comes in handy too. Sometimes we had too much going on, and then you look out for that little and then I told him to go F himself. Yes, exactly. Um, that's invaluable, and not enough people have that. There's a lot of us out here single and lonely and waiting on somebody that's supportive and kind. So shout out to the missus. Um, when you think about your influences, who have been some of your bigger comedy influences?
Well, Rodney and luckily the people that have been helping me out, like I mentioned earlier, Harry Hickstein, Bill Gorgo, Dr. Bill Miller, they've helped me out a lot with my material and guiding me. But nationally, I'd say Rodney's nice. Nobody compares to him.
Yeah, absolutely. One liner king. Um, who have has there been anybody lately that you've gone off to see? Any like the last guy I went to go see and paid some extra money for was Neil Brennan because I love Neil. Shout out Neil.
I'm trying to think. Jim Gaffigan, I've seen him when he's been here, and I like Kevin Hart.
Nice. Have you gotten a chance to see Kevin live?
What's that?
Have you gotten a chance to see Kevin Hart live?
Yeah, he's really good. I like him.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, no, he's a joke beast. People don't understand that. He's a hell of a performer. Those first couple of specials of his, I used to watch them nonstop on Comedy Central. Like every time they be on Comedy Central, I just watch.
I
Good.
love to watch to learn.
Watch to learn, and then plus there was a cadence. I love his flow. I love the beats on those first two specials and those classic bits. Even when we get to his all right, all right, all right, classic Kevin Hart stuff. I've loved watching the progress. Part of and it's my mom is on here, so she can attest to this. Part of the reason I love Kevin Hart is because one of my dad's favorite movies, God rest his soul, was Soul Plane. So thanks to Soul Plane, and as much as people talk crap about Soul Plane, and I watched Soul Plane with Dad, and I said, "Well, this is kind of funny after all." I'm chuckling. So yeah, Kevin Hart, thank you for making my dad laugh. Thank you for making me laugh, and Steven and a lot of us. Thank you for still being a badass and keeping us laughing these days, even on commercials, on everything. The man's all over the place. It's a workhorse. Um, could you imagine being Kevin Hart at the O2 Arena?
No, I mean that's it. You said O2 Arena.
Yeah, for the concert movie What Now?
Oh yeah.
Just
Awesome.
insane. It's like one of the best concert venues in the world, one of the best places to go catch a rock show. You might catch Queen, Brian May, Adam Lambert on front, but still, Kevin Hart in an arena. So there's big jumps between social media comedy to arenas. Um, what, what's the biggest stage you could see yourself on, Stephen? If you could imagine.
Well, locally, probably the Chicago theater. It's very intimate.
Ooh.
I I mean that'd be the ultimate for me in the city like that.
Chicago Theater is a beautiful landmark.
They get a lot of comedians there.
Absolutely. And what was it? I think Mojo Brooks just sold out the Chicago Theater over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I remember looking at videos from Corey Bell had posted, Just Niche, Funny Ass Tierra. Uh, who else was up there? There's one more lady I'm forgetting, and they probably gonna look at me like, "Oh, how you forget?" But yeah, they went crazy for Mojo Books this weekend. Uh, but yeah, Chicago theater is definitely one. I'm just closing my eyes right now thinking about it. There's something.
Oh, another I shot at one more comedian that was a big influence on me, Damon Williams.
Shout out David Williams. Yes,
He's given me a lot of opportunities. He used to host riddles all the time.
absolutely. I've been a Damon fan forever. And then getting into stand up, I was like, oh, wait, I'm in the proximity. I met Damon for the first time about a month ago at the grand opening for Laugh and Enjoy. And he was so kind. But man, is that man funny. Woo!
Yeah.
His energy is undeniable. The jokes are funny as all get out, but his energy, baby. Damon is one to watch.
I miss him at riddles because he was there every weekend. Then I guess he got too busy.
Man's very busy. The man's always on the go. Very busy. But one of Chicago's legends, one of the funniest people. One of the funniest and one of the kindest too. Is there anybody who you haven't worked with yet that you would like to?
I have to say another favorite of mine, Larry Reed, Uncle Larry. You know.
Shout out to Uncle Larry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was my first favorite local comedian. That really, in fact, he was one of the ones that influenced me to get into comedy because I was going to see him before I got into it. So yeah, I'd love to work with him.
Yeah, he's super funny. He's super funny. I forget if we had done a podcast together. I just remember him just being so on it. He's always been on it. I've seen him for years, but just so on it, so fun. That's the thing. Chicago's got living legends.
Yeah.
That still get on stages, that still write, that still tour, that still. So we have a rich tapestry of comedy in Chicago, which I just love. I just love seeing it. Love seeing it. I know we talked about some of the best places. You can be honest. Can you tell me about one of the worst venues you've ever performed at?
Oh God, that's a hard one. A bar open mic, probably. I mean, are you talking about like the actual comedy club
or a hell gig?
A couple of VFW halls. I can't remember one particular, but the bar, basically bar shows. Where no one's paying attention and the TVs are on and all the things you're not supposed to do when you're running a show.
Doesn't it hurt? It just hurts when you
Very. I mean, it makes you think you're not funny, but it's really not that. It's just the environment. It's distracting.
It's one of those things where you have to grab the mic and say, "Did you guys know there's going to be live comedy here?" And you have to fight through all that, and there's.
Well, that goes again with what I said about sluggers. You got to have the bar on board and turn off the TVs and let everybody know there's a show going on. No food, no eating.
Otherwise, it's just a whole bunch of red zone and NFL in the background and just 10 screens blaring the plays of the week while you're trying to get that tight five off. Yeah, it's a struggle. Bar shows. Have you ever had any of those bar shows where the stage is just a pallet?
Yeah, I've done those. I'm just trying to think of one offhand, but yeah, I've done those before. I've done every type of gig you can imagine.
You gotta.
Rough.
I feel like you gotta. Just to get the full experience, What's aside from club gigs, what's your favorite type of gig to take?
Oh, besides club gigs, BFW halls are pretty good. Yeah, those are good. People come there to laugh.
Yeah, when those shows are well run, and again when the venue cares and
Yep.
staff there cares, it can be a lot of fun, a lot of good payoff. Um, so you've done this almost 20 years.
Yep.
Where else would you like to perform? Where else would you like to take this thing?
Um, well, I've been to LA, New York, which are the capitals, kind of, but I have to say, where would I? Trying to think. My goal is to go to almost every city. I travel a lot, so anywhere that I haven't been, probably have to say I'd like to go back to LA.
Mm, yeah, LA is LA is still popping stand up wise.
Yeah, actually, I'm going there in late November. I'm going to do some shows out there.
Okay, excellent. Flappers or anything like that?
I'm working on it. Yeah, Flappers. I talked to the booker there. I think I'm going to get a showcase there.
Excellent, excellent. One of my girlies from back in the day just did her one woman. Well, it was mostly her doing stand up around her birthday, but she did that. She did it. Do have a couple of homies that are regulars over there at Flappers. Um, but when
Probably know them.
you might Dana Keel, um, you might know Lynn's son. Lynn's usually at Ice House in Pasadena. She runs a Renegades comedy show on Fridays. It's a very cool show. Um, when I came back from Shanghai, I won Flapper Super Bowl that year, just sitting on boxes in my living room. And
Really?
people thought I was an LA comic because of it. And I'm like,
Oh,
cool.
that's a big thing to be an LA comic. Gives
Right,
you legitimacy.
right. And it's so that's like I'm coming from Shanghai. I'm home here in the Chicagoland area, and then it's like, oh, you're being broadcast to a lot of folks in LA. Heck yeah, win-win. Like it was fun. There were regular monthly virtual gigs after that because the pandemic and all that stuff. And whereas the usual prize would have been my own headliner in person, I got to do it virtually, which was still cool. Um, Shout out to Flappers. Shout out to Josh and Barbara at Flappers for always being so supportive. Um, and for another successful Burbank Comedy Festival. Let's see. Yeah, because LA is still popping. Um,
You're asking what cities. So basically, the ones that I would like to do the most are the ones that I've been to already, but I want to go back.
mm,
So I've been pretty much all over the country, but LA and New York are my favorite.
yeah, there's something special about New York too. New York is just electric
And
energy.
even the couple of days I was there, I didn't do it. There's still too many clubs to do there on one trip.
Walking down McDougal Street, you never know who you're gonna run into. And then even then, there's like 4 or 5 different clubs in that little one area around a Comedy Cellar, Fat Black Pussycat.
Broadway, Governors.
Yeah, the 2 New York comedy clubs. It's just a lot, and then a whole bunch of other little independent ones.
Overwhelming.
Just about, but again, it's New York. It's the Mecca. It's where you want to be.
I joke about that's where I want to retire. When I'm getting ready to retire, most people want to go to Florida or California. I want to retire to New York, where I can do comedy all the time.
It's not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea at all. The only thing is the cost of living. But by
Yep.
then, you're over there making your living with the jokes. And hey, it's it's good. It's good. It can be fruitful. Um, what's been your favorite place to perform in New York so far?
Uh, Broadway Comedy Club.
Nice, nice.
That's where I've been so far. And next, I want to try Governors and Comedy Cellar.
Yeah, Cellar is still kind of hard to get into. There's still, I think, I don't know. I know that they used to you'd have to have at least two or three people backing you in and have to be seen by a certain booker.
And then I don't think they have like an open mic or a showcase night, huh?
Right. Mm-mm. No,
That's hard.
it's almost the way that's set up. It's almost invite only. But again, as long as you know these three people in there already that have been passed, I might be spilling too much tea. But then again, this could also be stuff that you might have to go on the internet and look, anybody could go on the internet and find that out. I think, unless I just happen to know quite a few people at the company. So, um, but I know it's a process. Knock on wood, you'll get in there and get it done and be able to retire nicely. You know, one of my favorite, DC Benny.
I know
Shout
him.
out DC, love DC at the Cellar. One of the grand storytellers. Okay, mwah. I've sat on a few of his workshops. He's so good. And so supportive, so kind. Thank you, DC Benny. Um, so yeah, I can see you definitely doing that same kind of thing, Stephen. I'm seeing that.
Going to New York?
And being like DC. Spreading that knowledge too to some folks. And
Oh yeah, I love helping on newer comics. I mean, I don't consider myself a teacher, but I mean, I'm more of a mentor.
yeah,
It's showing them around and helping them out.
yeah, that's what I said. I could definitely see you doing that. That's a good fit, man. So I'm gonna knock on some wood for you. That's gonna happen.
Hey,
And you get a chance to retire in the Big Apple, one of the best cities on the planet. I love it. I'm going back to New York in February myself, so
oh, really?
we're excited for that. Yeah, my fourth Black Women in Comedy Laugh Fest. Y'all start praying in advance for my rap battle opponent. It's gonna be anyway. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I want to hear more about it when you do it. I'm sure you'll post.
Absolutely. And I'll post the bloody aftermath. um, so that being said, let's see. Where are we? I think this is a great spot for us to go ahead and do one of my favorite segments, host, feature, headliner. And of course, you guys know this is that lovely time where I pick a lineup of comedians that we may or may not have talked about in this conversation. And it's up to Stephen to say who's hosting, who's featuring, and who's headlining. So, Stephen, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Your lineup is Rodney Dangerfield, Jim Gaffigan, Kevin Hart.
Oh God, that's a hard one. Well, you know, I'm biased towards Rodney. He'd be the headliner. Kevin Hart will be the feature, and Gaffigan will be the host. Hope I'm not ruffling any. Well, Rodney's gone, but I would unruffle feathers with Kevin and Jim.
I
Don't tell him, please.
I set it up because I knew that would be a dream lineup for you because I was
Oh yeah.
about it myself, and I am in full agreement with the order you chose. Gaffigan, so clean, so quirky, so fun for a host. Kevin being the spitfire he is, being a perfect feature, and then setting him up for Rodney to take him home. And like you said, sometimes he would have an unrelated, but he'd just be so cohesive with it. So I would have loved to been old enough to be at a club in the 80s on Sunset Strip and see Rodney Dangerfield in his heyday.
You know, you still got a club out there.
Is still a Dangerfields out there?
Yeah.
Nice. I don't know what's up with the one in New York. I forgot.
Dangerfield's in New York. Yeah, it's old partner that ran it with him back then when he was alive is still there, I think.
Okay. Excellent. Oh. This said they closed in October 2020.
Yeah, but it reopened. It used to be Dangerfield. Now it's Rodney's. Same location, just they're using his first name now instead of his last name.
Okay.
It may not be the same partner, but you know it's the same location.
That's excellent then. I'm glad they can keep that legacy alive then. They definitely need to. Um, right, I see this iconic comedy club on the Upper East Side is reopening November 2023. New owner Mark Yosef, a local comic, was planning on reopening a 200-seat club. And yet to be announced new name at its former address. So I think that's Rodney's as you were talking about.
Yeah.
Amazing. And, God bless Rodney Dangerfield, y'all. If you're a youngster, if you're a Gen Zer, like I said, do your homework on the man. We gave you two great movie recommendations. Caddyshack, Back to School. And like I said, go see those old school Johnny Carson moments. Him just chilling at the desk and keeping Johnny on his toes.
They're all over YouTube.
All over YouTube. All over YouTube.
What would we do without YouTube?
World's largest repository.
You there? I think I lost you.
Yeah. Watch and learn. Oh, we're here.
Okay.
I think it almost tried to chirp out on us. But that's okay because we're coming toward the end here. We're coming toward the home stretch. So, let's bring it on home so that we don't have any tech, snafus. Steven Springer, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Can you tell us who is your comedy bestie?
Harry Hickstein. He's helped me out so much. He was real big. He was Mr. Big Stuff back in the day.
Nice. Shout out to Harry. Harry's a long time.
I have more than one, but you just want the one, right?
You can go on.
Well, like I mentioned, with Bill Gorgo, Dr. Bill Miller, they've all helped me out.
Shout out to the Bills being awesome. And shout out to Mrs. Springer yet again, because, a good supportive partner is everything in this day and age. Stephen, what do you have coming up soon? What are your upcoming shows?
Well, Sunday, it's a Laugh Factory. It's my biggest one coming up. It's 7 o'clock, Sunday the 21st. Got a good lineup. And then Friday, I'm doing a police show at FLP headquarters. It's all first responder. Nice. Looking forward to that. It's all a house full of cops.
Excellent.
I got stories they can relate to.
Where can people find you on social media and keep track of you and keep up with your shows and stuff?
Stephen J. Springer on both Facebook and Instagram. And then YouTube also.
Stephen J. Springer on the socials. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that up here so y'all tap in with Stephen across the socials. Instagram and Facebook and his YouTube, Stephen J. Springer. With those great shows coming up, like you said, Laugh Factory coming up and a first responder show. So as for me, you know what your girl can't stop talking about. This Thursday, the 18th, 6:30 doors, 7:30 show. Me and Marina Franklin. Marina's coming home for one night only, and she's got your girl featuring, and I'm so super excited. Comedy Plex is awesome, as we talked about at the top of the show. Shout out to Mars Timms, Sherman Edwards, Chris Bell. Great owners, great club, beautiful club. Just doesn't it feel like old school, like hanging out at a buddy's place, kind of sort of like going down to the basement?
Oh yeah. And you forgot to mention one of the owners, Chris Bell, very cool too.
Awesome guys, awesome club, Comedy Plex. Thursday night, me and Marina Franklin. That's all. I ain't talking about nothing else but me and Marina Franklin. That's it. No. Next Saturday night, the 27th, I got yet another September edition of Joke Sisters, y'all. We got another great lineup. Jenna Gephardt, Sam Selby, Reese Lene, Sherry Flanders doing a guest spot. Me, your girl, hosting. And I feel like there's one other lady that I have forgotten, and I hope she don't whoop my butt because I didn't forget her name. Hold on. Christy Turner. Christy, last time I saw Christy, me and her were at Comedy Plex, smacking them upside the head with the jokes. So how could I forget? Shout out, Christy. See you next Saturday night at Joke Sisters at Lincoln Lodge. Don't forget, Joke Sisters runs monthly, fourth Saturdays, 9:30, premium, prime time. We'll see you.
I'll come check it out sometime.
Please check it out sometime. It's a lot of fun. 10% of proceeds go to the Black Women in Comedy Laugh Fest. And just excited and blessed. Thank you so much again for your time, Stephen.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm flattered and I had a blast.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you out in these comedy streets, and I'm wishing you very happy sold out shows every which way.
All right, thank you very much. Take care.
All right. Guys, it's been another episode of Your Comedy Bestie with your girl Erica Switzer and Stephen J. Springer. We will see you back here next week with me, Great KB Marion, and Just Jeff. Y'all be good out there. The world is crazy. Love somebody, call them, tell them you love them, hug them. Spread love, be love. Bye. Love you. Bye.